Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for April 3rd. So I'm really glad you're here today. We are going to do a blitz of questions with my pendulum. So for any of you who are new to this channel, just so you know, a couple things. So one, this particular pendulum, when it wants to say yes, it goes back and forth. Show me no. And you can see how it just literally shifts direction. And that is no. When it doesn't know or it doesn't want to answer the question, maybe we're invading somebody's privacy or infringing on something like that, it will go still. If the pendulum really kind of gets moving, it's going to look as if I'm moving it and my hand is moving. That is simply the momentum of the pendulum. Anybody who has worked or spent any times with pendulums knows that that's exactly what happens. And I'm specifically using a very short pendulum just because it's easier with the camera for you to be able to see what it's doing. So once again, yes is back and forth, no is round and round in a circle, and still is, it either doesn't have the answer or does not want to answer the question. And sometimes that's fair, right? I literally have my list of questions here. I hope I've covered a whole bunch of stuff that you're interested in finding out the answer to. So, let's start with potential let's start with something that's not quite so depressing. Okay, let's try, let's look at the War Measures Act. So, now, Canada announced yesterday morning that more than 3,000 companies have stepped in and are making supplies we need, from masks to face guards to ventilators, whatever it is. Okay, so we'll see if Trudeau is likely to enact that War Measures Act first. Is Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada likely to enact a war? No, because honestly, it's just simply not needed. Is the United States needing to enact a War Measures Act? Well, of course it is. And is that likely to happen? Yes. Okay. Is that likely to happen within the next 2 to 4 weeks? Yes. Now you'll see it's a very slow movement, or a narrow swing. So that tends to mean that the answer is slightly less enthusiastic. Okay, so it can happen, but either it's not solid, or it can happen, but it's going to be done with hesitancy or, a lack of kind of being thrilled about it. Okay. So is Canada going to stop? Is Canada going to continue to experience a casualty rate specifically from the coronavirus in the 1 to 1.5 percentage range of those inflicted with the illness? That is a yes. Hang on. Okay, and just so you know, for some of these actual numbers that I'm quoting, it's because I've gone through the process of, is it between 1 and 3, is it between 3 and 7, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm kind of going with the numbers that I have already confirmed, and this will double confirm them. The U.S. Is the U.S. likely to have a casualty rate in excess of 2 million? Yes. Is the U.S.'s percentage of casualties going to be between 2 and 5%? That's a no. Is it going to be higher than that? That, unfortunately, is a yes. Is it going to be under 8%? Okay, so as of right now, on the general trajectory, it looks like somewhere between 5 and 8% of people who catch it, have it, are going to be casualties of it. Globally, global loss of life for just the coronavirus deaths. Yeah, see, because it knows my numbers. Stop. Is it accurate that between 7.5 and 10 million people are going to lose their life as a result of this? And that's looking pretty darn definite right now, unfortunately. Is the coronavirus likely to slow its spread somewhere in the month of May? And is that slow connected to, Canada, the United States, that sort of North America area? Yeah, okay. So that is approximately when we can expect to start to see those numbers, going down, leveling off, that kind of thing. Where we can officially say, okay, look, this looks like it's slowing down. Is it accurate that towards the end of October or into the beginning part of November, this virus is likely to come back? And that is a yes. As of right now, are people who have had the virus and recovered from it, are they likely to be able to get reinfected come November? Okay, so that's a no. So then the next question is sort of the hit that we're going to take November, December, and probably into January, is it going to be as severe as the initial one that we are experiencing? And that is also a no. Is President of the United States, Trump, likely to get the coronavirus? And that is a yes. And is he likely to get fairly sick with the coronavirus? Is he likely to get sick enough that he is going to have to temporarily or permanently leave office? Is that an indicator that Pence is going to step into the presidency? Is Pence going to get the virus? That's a yes. So based on the fact that he's going to be able to step into the presidency, is the virus going to make him seriously ill? No. I'm going to say that's probably because he's not overweight and doesn't eat hamburgers and chicken on a daily basis. Just saying, just saying. Could have something to do with diet and basic health. U.S. unemployment numbers. I'm getting indicators that as of right now, the number of claims for unemployment is going to escalate by 3%. 3 times more than it sits right now. Is that accurate? And that is also a yes. The months between sort of, I want to say the end of May and the middle of September, is that when restrictions are going to lift? Yes. And is it accurate to say at that time, it is important that we remember that there is a significant potential for this thing to come around one more time? And would that be the time to get things in order for people. We now know what that feels like to get quarantined, to, be told to stay home. We know what that feels like in terms of the supplies we need, perhaps even things like legal documentation, paperwork. Are those the months when it would be most advantageous for people to take care of those kinds of pieces of business? And that is a very big yes. Is Nancy Pelosi going to maintain strength and health to get through this? That's a big yes. Go, Nancy, go. Schumer. Is Chuck Schumer going to stay healthy enough to continue his functioning? Yes. All right. Hold on here. Okay. Is the government going to try to use the virus to delay the federal election in the United States? Yes, they are. Don't panic. Stop. Are they going to be successful in that? No, absolutely not. They're not going to get away with delaying it. Trump doesn't get to claim that he is a wartime president. And yeah, that's just not going to happen. So don't panic about it. So again, is Trump going to be in office? No, let me say it this way. Does Trump have a better than 60% chance of being in office for the November election? Is he still going to be in office in November? Better than 60% chance? No. So no. He does not have a better than 60% chance of being in the office come November. And does Pence have a better than 60% chance of being in office for the election? And that's a yes. Okay. Is Trump going to win the election? That's a no. Is the Republican Party going to win the White House in the next election? No. Are the Democrats going to win the White House in November? Yes. Are the Democrats going to retain the House in the next election? That's a really big yes. Are the Democrats going to take the Senate in the November 2020 election? And that is also a really big yes. Is Biden going to, former Vice President Biden, is he going to stay healthy through the balance of the year, like healthy enough so that his health is not an influence about whether or not he can run for office and handle the office? Is his health going to maintain? That is a yes. Is Joe Biden going to be the Democratic nominee? Yes. Is Bernie Sanders' health going to stay strong through the end of 2020? Well, that's very good news. Yes, it is. Yes, he is. Is Bernie going to, sometimes in the next while, sort of graciously withdraw his his candidate. Now, what is the word? I'm going to stop his campaign. Is he going to do that at some point? Yes, he is. Is there going to be any sort of surprise candidates that surface right around the time of the Democratic, I guess the final nomination? Anybody, any surprises there? No. Is Governor Cuomo of New York going to stay healthy enough to continue his work? Yes. Now understand, when I'm asking healthy, okay, I'm not saying are they not going to get it. I'm saying, are they going to get sick enough that it is going to incapacitate them in terms of being able to do their work? The number of people who are going to get sick with this thing is it's a number that we can't even comprehend, okay? But there is a difference between feeling miserable for a week, getting the sniffles, having a headache, feeling nauseous, and being bedridden and ending up in the hospital and ICU. Okay, so that's when I'm saying healthy, I mean healthy enough. Okay, it does not mean that nobody's not going to get nothing. It just means that should there be any sort of infections or frankly even other health concerns, their stamina will see them through. They'll be able to get through it at this point. Is Governor Cuomo seriously thinking about running for election as president for this coming election? Is that sort of part of what's on his radar right now? Yeah, not at all. Not at all. One more question, just because I can hear people out there asking it. Is Michelle Obama going to consider running for vice president? Is that something that she would even consider? And that is a big no. So I'm really sorry to disappoint people, but I frankly have said energetically for quite a while now that even though people would love to see it, she has sort of served her time for her country. And she has other things that she is going to be wanting to do and accomplish that is part of her sort of Soulprint mission, right? It's part of what she wants to get done, why she came here. So that does not look likely. So, Kamala Harris. And before I ask the question, so I have a history of not saying her name correctly. And I would get these comments saying, it's spelled or it's pronounced Kamala. And they would put pronunciations, right, on different parts of it. It never stuck with me. Some wonderful viewer out there said, Cindy, my dear, it rhymes with Pamela. And this big, huge light bulb went off in my head. So, Kamala Harris, I'm so proud of myself for that. And whoever that wonderful person is, thank you. So, generally speaking, is Kamala Harris likely to stay healthy through this? Yes. Is she one of the people that is seriously being considered for vice president? Yes. Is the United States, with this next election, most likely to end up with a female vice president who is Black? Yes. Okay. Is Stacey Abrams also on the list for vice president? I guess contenders at this point. Is she on the list? Yes. Okay. Let's take a look at the Trump family, shall we? Jared Kushner. Is he going to stay relatively healthy through this? Oh, that's a bit of a surprise. Doesn't look like it. It looks like he could have a rough go of this thing. Don Jr., is he going to stay healthy? Like, strong enough to get through this? No. Oops. How about Eric? How's Eric doing? Yeah, nope, not him either. How about Ivanka? It looks like she actually might be able to. Okay. Melania, is she going to be okay? Yeah. And this is truly the first and only question I will ever ask about Baron. He is too young to have his privacy and his life invaded, but is Baron going to be able to maintain good health throughout the coronavirus issue? Yes, he is. That's good news because nobody wants to think about a young child like that. All right, let's get to some of the kind of messier questions, if you will. Russia. Okay, so this is really interesting, and I don't have my little phone nearby so that I can read it for you, but I think it was on April 1st, the CTV news organization, which is here in Canada, had a really fascinating article about how in this point in time, Russia is just moving ahead full throttle with their disinformation campaigns. And one of their biggest targets is the United States, because Russia really, really wants to sort of impress upon its people that, democracy is crappy and that kind of an economy is ridiculous. And so they are really, really ramping up the disinformation campaign. And this is the thing, right? People right now are starved for information about the virus, information about what's good, what's going to happen, what is it going to look like, how many people are going to be impacted. And this is the perfect time for Russia to sort of start putting out all kinds of crazy information, because people will latch onto it, and they will latch onto it without kind of due diligence, right? They're not going to really search and think about where the information is coming from. And of course, that is going to spread almost as quickly and viciously as the virus itself. So please, please, please be really mindful of that. We're all kind of quick to think that, Russia's the big boogeyman. Not saying he isn't, but that every single negative thing attributed to either Russia, and frankly, by extension, Trump, connected to Russia, is true. And the worse it is, the more true we believe it is, or we want to believe it. So please, I'm just cautioning you, be really careful, okay? Just please be really careful. So, is Russia involved? Has Russia been actually playing a role in somehow directing the spread of this virus globally? Has Russia actually played any significant role in that? No, they have not. They are a victim just like every other country. Is Russia being particularly hard hit with the coronavirus and ultimately fatalities of it? Yep, they sure are, in part because, of course, that is not a very wealthy country, and the wealth is only kept by the wealthy. So the people's stamina and health, the people of Russia, they are that much more at risk, right? Because they don't have strong immune systems, because of course they don't have good health, because wealth, which means, good food, good products, warm clothes, all that kind of stuff is not really, really prevalent there, unfortunately. Did China create this virus so that it could have like world dominance or something? No, absolutely not. Has China in any way done anything to hamper the U.S.'s response or ability to respond to this virus? Yes. Okay. What did China do? Did they share maybe disinformation with Trump or the Trump administration? Oh yeah, you bet they did. You bet they did. So is it possible that China maybe suggested to Trump that no, really, they didn't need to worry because China was going to be able to keep this contained within its borders? Was that sort of a conversation that took place? You bet it was. You bet it was. Okay. Is there going to be a vaccine available within 12 months? That's a no. Is there going to be a vaccine available within 14 months? And that is a yes. So that's a little bit earlier because normally they say, about 18 months. So they're going to be able to shave some time off of that. There is sort of a thought going around that in order to receive the vaccine, people are going to have to be embedded with a chip that will allow the government or governments to track them. Does that hold any validity at all? That's a really big no, okay? So for those of you who have been questioning about it, thinking about it, worrying about it, as of right now, according to this pendulum, the highest probability given the trajectory of events is a solid no. All right. Dr. Fauci, he has been given extra security detail. I don't know how many of you have heard this. Came out on, I think, Wednesday evening. I heard about it. He has been given extra, in fact, security detail, which I don't think he actually needed to have before, because there was a lot of right-wing supporters who were threatening him. They were saying that he was being too mean to Trump. They were saying that he was spreading lies. They were saying that, he was out to whatever. So he actually now has security. Is that security going to be something that needs to stay in place for the foreseeable future with him? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's ask another big question. I know that the other day there was a radio personality, not that Rush Limbaugh, unfortunately, but another radio personality who is a really, really strong supporter of Trump's, who finally backed down and said, you got to handle this better. You're not handling this well, and that's all there is to it. So I'm wondering if Trump is going to lose more, is he going to are the number of people who are vocal supporters of him, are they going to continue to sort of jump ship? Yeah. Okay. Is there going to be more information coming out sort of about the levels of incompetence of the Trump administration? You bet there is, because there sure is a lot of it. It's part of the reason that supplies from the United States were shipped to other countries, because Trump truly had been given information, and not by his people, okay, by foreign actors, that the virus would be able to be contained basically across the sea, across the ocean. Yeah. Yeah. So that was part of the reason that he was really slow to react, because he wanted to hear the good news and they were telling him good news. And the people, in his office that were coming into his office, they were giving him bad news, and he didn't want to hear the bad news. So he listened to the people who were giving him good news, being too foolish to realize they were lying through their teeth, to perhaps get what they might have needed or required in that moment. And he is a willing puppet. Um, New York City, is New York City going to see a leveling off within the next, I want to say 3 weeks, sort of the middle of April, shortly after that, is there going to be a really significant decrease? Yeah, absolutely. Are states that have been, and I'm very sorry and I apologize because I'm pretty sure I know the answer, to people who are living in red states, okay? But the question is, it has to be asked. Are people who reside in red states or with Republican governors who have been very slow to react, are they going to experience sort of a more difficult challenge? Yeah. Uh, are some of those states just now announcing that they are going to start putting in, stay in place um, rules and that kind of thing, the physical distancing? Please stop saying social distancing. It's not accurate. It's physical distancing. In fact, I think it was Kamala Harris who actually said, you need to physical distance, but please do not emotional distance, which is a really lovely way of saying keep in touch with those you know and love. Everybody's feeling a little bit isolated these days, so let's all stick together, shall we? Um, and just Yeah, so they're gonna be a little bit behind the 8 ball. Is the practice that is going on where Trump is sending supplies to Republican governors, Republican states, and really shortchanging or sending terrible supply to other states? Is that actually that practice? Is it actually going to be allowed to continue, or is there going to be a stop put to that? Yeah, there is. There absolutely is. Is it possible that a state or two may actually start a lawsuit against Trump and the administration to stop this? Yes. Okay, so that's interesting. Just a couple more quick questions. Is Mitch McConnell going to get seriously ill with the coronavirus? Looks like a yes. Is his wife? That also looks like a yes. Is McConnell going to maintain his Senate seat in Kentucky? Yay, Kentucky. Is Kentucky going blue at the next election? Yeah. Look at that, eh? That's a yes. Is Florida going blue next election? As of right now, that's a yes. Texas. Is Texas going blue? I'm sorry, I can't ask all the states. Those are kind of the ones that I was most predominantly concerned about. Louisiana, that's another one. Is Louisiana likely to go blue in the next election? Yeah, that's a no. That is a no. Okay. All right. So I hope that answered some of your questions as you go into the weekend. I hope that it gives you a sense of reassurance. I hope it gives you some good news, a few things at least to put lower down on the list of things that you are currently worried about and scared about. Please, stay safe. Continue to connect with those you know and love. Continue to fill up some of your time with activities that are fun. That shift the mind from where your thoughts are. Maintain that positive energy to the very best, very, very best of your ability, and understand and know that we are a strong community here at Soulprint. We support each other. We are kind and gracious to each other, and I am incredibly grateful for that and for each and every one of you. I mean, of course, I thank all the wonderful subscribers. I thank the viewers, the thumbs up, the comments. Please continue to do that because it keeps these videos circulating. And if you find value and comfort and help in them, then please help to continue to get these things staying in circulation on YouTube. Very, very much appreciate that. Until next time, please take care. Be well. I'll see you soon.